I'm here, I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about the arc of my organization. And what I'm doing with that arc is I am writing a book series in relation to it. And so the arc of an organization is you first commit to a concept and you start it, and then you build it, and hopefully you can be one of the fortunate that gets that business to positive cash flow. And that is the topic of my first book, and it's my first book here, Grind, a no bullshit approach to take your business from concept to cash flow. And this book is not going to be a standard book that you're going to read on entrepreneurialism. It is a book about what needs to go on in the mousetrap in between your ears in order to be a successful entrepreneur. The first chapter is due diligence. And everybody in the room has heard the word due diligence before, the term due diligence. Pretty simple. What I advocate, though, as an entrepreneur, we leave out one massive component of due diligence. And that is the due diligence on you as the entrepreneur as to whether you can be successful as an entrepreneur. And so that's chapter 1 in the book, due diligence on you. So in the arc of starting a business, you go from the enthusiasm, euphoria of committing to a concept, starting it, and then you dive deep, and then hopefully you can come out of that at the end of the day with a business that is cash flowing and generating positive cash flow. And then at that point, I call that the bootstrapping entrepreneurial moment, which is you're in it, you're running it. You as the entrepreneur are absolutely key to that organization. You are an integral part. You are the key cog in the wheel. And then you have to go and become a leader. And that is an entirely different thing. So you have to go from bootstrapping entrepreneur to becoming a leader. But becoming a leader of an organization, the full arc is to lead the organization through to what I call irrelevance. And so what I mean by that is my goal as the entrepreneur was to start it, become the leader that organization needed me to be in order to get it to the point of sustainability, and then I needed to become irrelevant to the organization. Is the sole purpose, and it feels like the culture of entrepreneurialism has landed in this place where the sole purpose of entrepreneurialism is to cash out, to get rich? I find that so boring. I find that so boring. So what I'm advocating in my second book, which is you don't have to take that approach. And what I'm going to do is I am building my organization. I'm very, very close to what I'm referring to as irrelevance. And the irrelevance is I can get run over by a bus tomorrow, and my organization will continue to grow and thrive. So build an organization to have a liquidity event so you can get rich, or change the world. I like the second option a lot better. So how are we going to change the world? Our purpose is to support you in building a life you love, no matter who you are. If you touch our organization, our purpose is to support you in building a life you love. And our vision is to improve workplace culture in the United States. So that's our vision. I believe in my whole approach to business and generally my life is just focus on the fundamentals. Get really, really good at the fundamentals. People are amazing at making shit really complicated. People are really, really good at making stuff complicated. I don't meet that many people in my life that take the complicated and make it really simple. And to me, that's genius. The ability to take the complicated and make it simple is genius to me. So what are the fundamentals? The first one there, 1, focus on who you are and what you do. as an organization, as a company, as a person. Focus on, so what do we do? For over 20 years, my business partner and I woke up every single day trying to sell one more cup of coffee tomorrow than we did today. That's it. We are a beverage retailer, and we wanted to be the best beverage retailer in the world. I think we're probably second best. I'm going to go ahead and say Starbucks is better than we are because they have however many tens of thousands of stores. But I believe we're second best in the world at it. I actually do think we're better than Starbucks, but results speak. So that's what we've been doing for 20 years. We wake up in the morning and we try to sell one more cup of coffee today than we did yesterday, period. That's it. So, other fundamentals. This phrase right here, I have a dear friend of mine. I won't name him because he gets squirrely around privacy, so I won't name him. He's very, very, very successful. He has taken two companies from plus or minus 50% on $10 million. So one company was just below $10 million in revenue. The other company was at like $14 million in revenue when he bought them. He did a liquidity event, ended up going public with the first one. They were I don't know, 1.3 billion in revenue at that point. He's now in his fifth year into his second one of those. He bought it at 14 million. I believe he's going to do just north of 900 million in revenue. It will be over $1 billion by next year. So he's done that twice. He spoke in front of my class here at the university, and a student asked him, if you had any words of advice to us going into our careers, going into work, how would you answer that question? And it's the smartest thing I've ever heard anybody say. Because his response was, say these words every single day in every single meeting. How can I be helpful? In every meeting you're in every conversation, in every event you're in your professional life and frankly your personal life, how can I be helpful? If that isn't a fundamental, I don't know what is. When people feel like what you want to do is you want to invest in their success, all of a sudden you're building one heck of a relationship with them. Another fundamental. Try to exceed people's expectations every time. Just so simple and easy, but try to exceed people's expectations every time. If you can do one thing from now until you're my age and until you retire, focus in and build relationships with people. Because you don't know where those are going. You don't know what people are up to. You don't know. I just heard a story yesterday about the founder. I'm going to try to get this right. The founder of Red Bull had a job in Miami, and the guy that he was getting fired. And so the guy that came to fire him in Miami showed up to fire him and fired him, and then they went out for dinner and drinks after, right? And the guy that ended up founding Red Bull said, I've got this idea, right? This is a long time ago. I've got this idea. And he explained Red Bull to the guy. Well, the guy was interested and they talked. Well, the guy that fired him ended up maintaining a relationship with him. This is a guy he fired that he maintained a relationship with. And then he ended up being like number 6 employee at Red Bull. Because the guy circled back, hired him like 18 months later, and now the guy's obviously retired. So maintain relationships. I had leadership during tough times. I really agonized on this question. This was one of the things you wanted me to touch on, right? If you go to that third bullet point, good leaders don't do anything different during bad times than they do during normal times. And I agonize with that because it's like, but I do think it's true. I think there's nothing different when during bad times. I mean, the fundamentals of leadership are the fundamentals of leadership, and you do them in good times and bad times. Like for I think I talked about transparency up here. Did I put that up there? Oh yeah, transparency. There is only one version, fully transparent. So we run our organization flat out. We're a private held company, 2 shareholders, and we run our company wide open. Every employee of our organization sees every financial statement. So we went into COVID, right? We're talking about tough times. We go face first into COVID. Our revenue falls 40%. And we took a little bit of a different tactic than most. Many were like, you're good. We're going to take care of you. We're going to fund you all the way through this thing. You know, some did that, not all, but some did that. And that kind of hit me. I'm like, God, is that what I'm supposed to be doing? And my partner and I talked about it at length. And what we decided to do is say, no. Like, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we don't devastate this company in the next 6 months. I mean, we probably had $1.5 million in cash on hand, and we certainly weren't going to be able to get debt in this moment. And I certainly didn't want to go into my personal, the few dollars I've saved up over the years, right? And so what we did is we opened everything up, we showed everybody everything, and we laid off 50% of our people. And we let them go and get unemployment. And we said, we are going to hire you back as quickly as we can. Now, my partner and I took 80% pay cuts. Our senior leadership team took 50% pay cuts. And then everybody else that stuck around, I think, took 25% pay cuts, right? And so, but our thinking was, let's just be fully transparent, talk through everything, show everybody, you know, that everybody knew anyway. And relatively, I think within 2 weeks, we were starting to hire people back. I think within 6 weeks, everybody was hired back. But what we didn't want to do is say, we got you, don't worry about it, you're going to be fine, run the company into the side of a mountain, deplete all of our cash, and then say, oh, oops, we kind of screwed up, we got to let all of you go, and the company's in deep trouble. So that's an example of how we led through tough times. But the key there was transparency. No one said a thing. Everybody was like, yeah, all right, this seems like the right thing to do. We're gonna have to go get unemployment and so on, but this seems like the right thing to do. And then we were able to bring everybody back very quickly, so that was nice. And then let's see, how to identify and capitalize on opportunities. One, I don't think organizations should be swinging for the fences in terms of opportunities. I think, what did I write here? Innovation happens one little bite at a time. Innovation is not this thing like you create some mind-blowing initiative that alters the course of the organization. I mean, I think those things happen, not very often. And so innovation is just this wheel that's constantly running, little improvements. So over time, these little improvements, these little innovations add up to big innovations. And Warren Buffett, we all know Warren Buffett, he talks about, he tries to make like 1 or 2 good decisions a year. And you're like, this is Warren Buffett. And he's talking about, he's not trying to like move mountains every month or every week or every quarter. He's like, if I can make 1 or 2 good decisions a year, like, awesome. And then this is going to sound, I think this is probably going to sound a little weird, but when I'm diving into a new opportunity or something I'm considering, and I start procrastinating, and I'm not enthusiastic about it, and all of a sudden I realize it's because it's not the right opportunity for me. Because I know, like, when I continue to tear into something and I keep working on it and I keep working on it, so I have this like internal meter, and if I start procrastinating, if I stop working on something, I can't always articulate why I don't think it's a great idea or why I don't want to move forward. But if these innards here start telling me to slow down or to procrastinate, that's when I start to know it's not the right opportunity.